Hey crafters! So if you caught last week's Tutorial Tuesday, you now know how to increase your stitches. And that's really awesome, and basically as I explained in that video, it's where you go ahead and you do extra stitches in some spots, so that way you can get different effects, like you can change the shape of your work, or you can, get a 3D effect, create some ripples and cool textures. So that was a lot of fun, and hopefully you watched that tutorial and know how to do that. And if you didn't, I'll put the link right up one of these sides. I'll put it up there along the top. Also, you can get similar effects to increasing stitches, but kind of like reverse, and that would be by decreasing stitches, which is what today's video is going to be about. So the thing with decreasing stitches is, again, as I explained in my last video, is I was really confused when I first started because I kind of just made it up on my own. I didn't really know what the right or wrong way to do things was. And there's not quite a right or wrong way, but there's better methods than others out there. And so when I was first trying to decrease stitches to get different shapes and 3D-ness and textures and things, I would just skip spots. But the problem if you just skip a spot is, sure, you end up with less stitches, but you also end up with these really big holes, and no one really wants that because then your work looks kind of sloppy and not very consistent. So that's what we're going to talk about today, how to decrease with this cool method. It's like an invisible decrease, and you don't get the holes. And also another thing I'll throw out there is this one's not as intuitive as doing the increase. And also, with the increase, how it applies to all stitches, there's a method that applies to all stitches with the decrease, but it can be a little bit different depending on what stitch you're doing. So I'm going to today talk about how to decrease double crochet and how to decrease single crochet. And hopefully you'll be able to kind of pick up on the trend there and be able to apply the same method to stitches like the treble crochet or the half double crochet and things like that. So let's get into it. So for doing decreases, I'm going to start with this row here of double crochet.
Okay, so it's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 stitches.
And I'm going to work my decreases at the sides. However, because of the turning chain, there is a way that you can do a decrease exactly at the edge, but because I haven't shown you that method, today for doing the decrease, we're going to work the decrease in these two stitches here. So basically the idea is we're going to have 2 stitches on this row, but on the row above it is only going to be 1 stitch above both those stitches. So let's start with our 1, 2, 3 turning chain, and then turn our work. So we're going to, because we're doing decreases with double crochet, we're going to start our stitch about like normal. Yarn over, and insert the hook into the first spot, pull through 1. Now normally we would just at this point go ahead and finish the stitch, but we want to incorporate the second stitch also, so that way there's 1 stitch above both of them and we do the decrease. So once we've got these 3 loops on our hook, we're going to insert the hook in the following stitch. Then I'm going to yarn over, pull through 1. So what you see I've got now is I have 4 loops on the hook. Normally I wouldn't have this 4th loop and I would only have those 3 loops like that. So what we're going to do is we're going to act like these 2 loops count as 1 and complete our double crochet stitch. So what do I mean by that? Now normally at this point, if we hadn't worked also in the second stitch to do the decrease, normally at this point I would yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 2. So we're going to do the same basic idea, except we're going to be working with 4 stitches and we're going to let these last 2 count as 1. So I need to yarn over and pull through 2. Now when I yarn over, you might be thinking that, oh, we pull through these 2. But remember, we're letting these 2 count as 1. So really it's like 1, 2. So basically I'm going to yarn over and pull through 3 loops. And then I'll complete my stitch just like normal. Yarn over, pull through 2 loops. So now if you look at it from the top, I've got my turning chain counting as the first stitch. And then I have this decrease worked in 2 stitches. So it's turning these 2 stitches, but above them there's only 1 stitch. So let me work to the end of my row, and then we'll do another decrease at the end. So I've just got 2 stitches left from my previous row, and I want to work a decrease here. So to do the double crochet decrease, I yarn over, insert the hook in the first stitch, yarn over, pull through 1. Then before I complete the stitch, I insert my hook in the following stitch, yarn over, pull through 1. Then to complete it, I'm going to pull through these 3 and then pull through the last 2. So yarn over, pull through 3, yarn over, pull through 2. So you can start to see, you can especially see it on this side because I worked it in a little ways, how the edge is starting to go in. And you can also notice it here. It's a little harder to tell on this side just because the turning chain from the previous row tends to get a little more mushed. But you can see that we've turned these 2 stitches into one without any big gaps. Because if I had just skipped that spot, it would look like this. And so sure, you get the same kind of result and the same kind of shape, but now you have this big ugly hole. So I'll show you one more time how we do that decrease. Yarn over, insert your hook into the first spot. Yarn over, pull through 1. Then, before we complete the stitch, insert the hook into the second stitch. Yarn over, pull through 1, yarn over, pull through 3, yarn over, pull through 2. And there you go. Your decrease looks just like that. Now, if you want to learn some more tips on how doing the decrease will change things, you can go find my video on how to do increases. So the same idea applies as in that video. So in that video, I explained that if you do the increases at the side, it makes it wider. So when it's a decrease, if you do it at the edges, it makes it come inward. And then if you do the decreases throughout the middle, instead of it causing the decreases to bow, it'll cause the previous row that has more stitches to kind of bow and bend. So you can play around with these decreases and try doing different things, and you can get either just a flat shape that gets narrower, or you can go ahead and try doing the decreases in the middle to get more of a 3D shape. So the last thing we're going to talk about is how to do the decrease with single crochet. So I'm going to make my turning chain, and this time I'm going to work the decreases in the middle. So I'm just going to do a couple single crochet just like normal.
Okay, I should have said a couple, because I'm doing more than 2.
And I want to work my decrease in these next 2 stitches here. I want to turn those 2 stitches from the previous row into just 1 stitch on this row. So the idea is similar to how we did the double crochet. Just, you know how in double crochet you yarn over, but in single crochet you don't? So same idea applies. We insert the hook in your first stitch, yarn over, pull through 1. Normally to complete the single crochet, we would yarn over and pull through 2, and that would finish it. But instead, we're going to insert our hook in the second stitch. Then we're going to yarn over, pull through 1. And then to complete it, we're going to yarn over and pull through 3. So if you look right here, you can see we went into both of these stitches here, but now on this row, we only have 1 stitch. So I'm going to work a couple more, just normal single crochet. And then let's do a decrease here. Start by inserting your hook in the first stitch, yarn over, pull through 1. Insert your hook in the second stitch, yarn over, pull through 1. Then to complete the decrease, yarn over, pull through 3. So once again, it's turned these 2 stitches into 1 on the next row. And then I'm just going to finish single crocheting just like normal to the end. And if you look, it's kind of causing it to bow this way. It's kind of, I don't know how well you can see on the camera, but if you look at it from this angle, this top, it's kind of causing this bump right here. And so that's because we did these decreases in the middle. It'll create different 3D kind of looks. And so decreases are great for corners, they're great for shaping 3D projects, and they're good if you find out that, oops, you accidentally added a stitch earlier in your work and you want to correct that later on. And there you have it. Now you know how to decrease your double crochet and your single crochet stitches. So once again, I hope that this tutorial was helpful. And as always, comment below. I want to hear how you're going to use these different methods. And I want to know what you're working on, what you thought of the video. Give it a like if you liked this tutorial. Subscribe if you want to see more videos and see more of my lovely face. So best of luck in your crafting endeavors. Go get out there and get crafting. And happy crafting. Okay, I don't really have anything funny to do at the end here, but I will say that if you're wondering why I kept like looking down, it was because I filmed this clip and it was really blurry. So then I filmed it like last week, and then now that I'm actually editing this video, I found out it was blurry, so I had to redo it. But I like typed up what I said last time, so that's why I was like